No, I've done this a few times, so I do apologise, but I'm feeling a lot of things again recently, and it does happen to me a lot. And I honestly don't know where it comes from, but I feel like I need to let it out when it comes. It comes so thick in my heart that I have to share it. So I'm sorry when I do this. Hi, if you don't know me, my name's Janine. I am 35 years old, living with beep. I am 35, living with leiomyosarcoma terminal cancer. I am also a beep. I am also a kidney transplant recipient. There's one thing about living with cancer, and that is the unexpected. We don't know what our future holds. We don't know when. We don't know how. I think after my first round of trabectedin, I realised that something else could take me because of chemotherapy, because of treatment, not the cancer itself. It could be something else. When I think about it, I think of certain films where you have a cancer patient and you see them from the beginning to their healthy looks to their end where they look like death. And I think is that how it's going to be for me? Will my family see me possibly turn to skin and bone, unable to wash, unable to dress, unable to get about completely? Will my teeth be all horrible at this point? I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think when people tell you have a lovely smile for so long, you feel like it's something that's something about you that that shows who you are. It's your smile. And even though my teeth are not perfect, they're not, and they have changed over the last couple of years, like a lot. My smile makes me, and I think, what if I can't brush my teeth and my teeth start to rot? Or because it does happen with cancer patients. And I know it's not important, but it's what's important to you. And my teeth have always been kind of important. Just in my look, I think, I've never had a really pretty face. I have a lazy eye. I overplucked my eyebrows in school, so they never grew back. My nose, I've got a hump nose. I've never had a good jawline. I've always had a double chin. Got it on both sides of my family. I've always had a receding hairline. I put on a lot of weight a couple of years ago, a lot. I was the most unattractive I'd ever felt, ever. And it's crazy to think that I'm still thinking, what am I going to look like at the end? Like it's even going to be important to me then. When I think of Stacey, if any of you used to follow Stacey on here, and we saw the cancer grow in her neck, we could see it. We could see over time how it got bigger over time. And I already feel mine. I feel mine on my shoulder. I do. When I had my kidney transplant, it was the most emotional time. I remember sitting in the living room and I'd missed a couple of calls from this number, and then I thought, I'm not answering that. It's a London call. I don't know who that'll be. So I ignored it until the seventh one, and I answered. And a lady said, hello, I'm so-and-so from Oxford Hospital in London. We're ringing you to let you know that there's a kidney waiting for you in Coventry. How quick can you get there? I had a WhatsApp group with some mum friends, my best friends, that I made a few years ago. And I told my friends in the group, and I said, I've just had a call. to say that the kidney's waiting for me and I've got to be there in an hour. And I was freaking, and Liam wasn't there. He was at a union meeting. My friend Anne came and I cried, and she was there for me and she was crying. And it was all so quick and emotional. And from that day, it's not easy. It's not as easy as just accepting an organ in your body. It's everything that you have to do with it. It's everything that you have to then be careful of. What you can eat, where you can go, what you touch, how clean you keep your home, how clean you keep your hands and your hygiene. Everything needs to be washed. You can't have ice. You can't have certain foods, certain drinks. You really do have to be careful. And I appreciated it so, so much. Really did. And then when that happened, I mean, I've nearly lost it a few times. UTIs being a massive one, having sepsis twice back then, E. coli infection twice, that was hard too. C. diff twice, C. diff was really bad. But I managed to win it back and I pushed through all those situations. I had a nephrectomy to try and help my kidney, so I've only got one of my own kidneys now. And what would I do? What would I do if that kidney ever failed? I would have had to go on dialysis. What if I could survive on dialysis? I don't ever want to go on dialysis. It's something that I've sort of thought, that might happen to me in the future, but no, thank you. I get these hospital transport drivers always talking about their dialysis patients and how they all feel really sorry for them. And it's true, because dialysis really is. It just takes it all out of a person. It really does. I don't want to be going and spending 4 hours 3 times a week up at a dialysis centre. No, thank you. I don't even want to do it at home. If my kidneys had have failed dialysis, but it made my blood pressure very low. What if I had had a heart attack? What if I died there and my family weren't ready? They know I've got cancer, but it doesn't mean that that's what's going to take me. I might be oversharing a bit here, but I didn't have the best childhood. I didn't. And my family will tell you that. Very hard. And I broke free from it as soon as I could. And I felt so grown up, so independent, so free. I met Liam. I had this new life that I was leading to, and there was nobody who was going to pull me back into what I didn't want to be in. And Liam taught me how to grow. He taught me how to be more independent. He taught me how to laugh and smile in a way that I'd never have. I was glad to be out of Coventry. I was. There were a lot of things that I didn't want to be around here, and he took me away from all that. Being a mom, it's the best thing. Best thing I've ever done. Even having him, it wasn't straightforward. So I didn't get to have like a nice birth or anything. I had an emergency C-section. Thought we were going to die. And I always remember a day when I went for a renal appointment, and Matthew was, I don't know, I think he was about 3, and we were going to Thomasland for, I think it was for New Year. I don't think it was for Christmas, but it was around that time, and I'd just been to see my renal doctor and had my appointment, and everything was great. I remember going out into the waiting room, and this little old couple were watching us, and they were watching us talking about, let's go to Drayton Manor, let's go to Thomas World, and we were really excited, but it's a memory because it was of an appointment that I'd had to do with my kidneys. But I was here, my son was here, we were healthy, we were safe, and we were going to have a really good day, and we had a really good day. We had some beautiful pictures, and Matthew absolutely loved Thomas, the tank engine at the time, so just going to Thomas World was so much fun. I thought we were going to die on some of the rides there though. God, they were rickety. We didn't have any family. Like, I wasn't speaking to my mom or my dad at the time. Like Steph, anybody, we weren't talking. We hadn't, and Liam hadn't talked to any of his family either since Matthew was a year old. We were going to get married, and we said, right, we'll do what we want to do. We had our special people. Liam had his best friend and her family, who are amazing family, who have always been so good to Matthew and always cared about him. Liam's sister, he used to pick on his sister all the time and call her all sorts, but we loved her and we loved the kids. Same with his brother and his family. We didn't see them a lot because they lived a little bit further out, but we would have done anything for each other. And then there was Trina, Liam's auntie, who always has been the most, who was the biggest part of family to us there, and her kids. And then I had my group of mom friends, Liam had his friends, and then my nan and my brothers here. And then we had friends that we still very much kept in touch with from Butlins who came to our wedding reception. But we did what we wanted to do because we were always strong together. And we were so worried because we booked all this, and my kidneys started to deteriorate quite quickly. And by the time we went, my kidneys were at like 10%, but they still let us go, which was so good, so lucky. We really thought we weren't going to be able to do it, but we had the best time. And I didn't feel ill like whilst I was there. It must have been the adrenaline, like in Morocco. We come out from a lot, like health-wise. But again, it wasn't straightforward. We didn't have parents there. We didn't have, a lot of family there. It was more friends and really close relatives. We did it. It wasn't straightforward like most. They've got their dad taking them down the aisle or having a dance with their family and stuff. So me, Matthew, and my nan had a dance, which was still very emotional. My nan still has the photo up of us dancing together, which still breaks my heart every time I see it. With the kidney transplant thing, we were talking about it the other day, about how emotional it was and how Leo and Matthew would come over, even though it was an hour's drive and he'd been to school. He was only like 7, 8 then, and it was a lot. It was. Matthew went into my nan in the kitchen, gave her the biggest hug and cried and said, "I don't want my mum to die." And they had to say, "She's not going to die. She won't. She's not dying. She's going to be okay." But nothing's been straightforward ever. Yeah, it's definitely the unexpected, not actually knowing what's going to happen. When I hear of so many different stories. A friend on here had mentioned another lady who was living with LMS who recently passed away, unfortunately. And she found out 6 years ago. So that scares me. I've heard of people less than a year, but I think 6 years is probably the longest I have heard of, and that knocks me sick. I'm scared of how I'm going to go down in that amount of time, if it's even that amount of time. How I don't want people to be sad. I don't. I'm scared about how people are going to be. I'm scared about who will try and turn up. And I'm not even going to be here. but I'll definitely be making a list of people I don't want to be there. I've heard of a lot of LMS patients having long lesions, Mets, whatever. I've heard having a lot of lung problems. I was so worried because last time I was in, they thought that they saw something but didn't confirm it. So I'm scared about that. That's one thing that I am so scared about struggling with is breathing. So yeah, it could be literally anything. Literally anything. So whatever you do, if you can take anything from this video, live your life to the fullest, because none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. So enjoy your life so much, because there are so many things that you can sit in that you would regret of not ever doing or wish that you could do. So yeah, make every second count. Say yes. Be brave. Have faith. Be more confident in yourself. Anxiety should not overrule you, should not take over your life. Don't let anxiety take over your life. Mental health is a real thing. Don't sit in silence, please. There are so many people who you can talk to. There are some amazing charities. I don't know what I would have done without people to have talked to, especially a couple of years ago. I had a really good mental health team through the crisis team that I needed, very much so then. So please don't sit in silence. It helps so much, honestly. Just remember, you are a person who deserves to be happy. Why don't you deserve to be happy? If you've done wrongs in your life, apologise, set it right, and live a good life, because we only get one. Only we can make ourselves happy and change our lives for the better. So don't push anybody away, especially when you're lucky to have good people. And if you don't, then make a life. Not everybody has to have people. We can make a good life out of what we have. Go on adventures. Take that holiday that you wanted to do. Have that tattoo. Eat the food that you want. Enjoy your life, guys. I'm gonna go. Bye.